Oh, well, g'day Fleet family, Nigel here today. We're coming from Owen Delany Park here in Taupo, and we've got a good mate here, Mike.
G'day,
How are you, buddy?
Really good, mate. How are you?
Good. You enjoying the days here so far?
Mate, she's a bit fresh. Those South Island shorts were tested certainly today when we arrived. Leaving home was a bit warm in the famous Tron, but no, great to be here, mate. It's been a great day so far. Well done.
Awesome. Anyway, mate, just for our guys out here, I'll get you to introduce yourself and a bit about yourself.
Nice, thanks, mate. Mike Davies, for those who don't know me, in the turf industry for 25 years now. Formerly golf background, did my traineeship down at the Lincoln Golf Club with KJ. Worked my way through New Zealand at the golf courses, and then stumbled into cricket, about 6 or 7 years ago now, and never looked back. Basically, I love the fact that cricket was more controllable than golf to a point where golf's got massive areas to look after and try and change was a little slower. Where cricket, it was the smaller dimensions and the being able to control the controllables a lot easier. So hence that's where I'm at now with the assistant turf manager at all H3 venues in Hamilton. So loving that. Yep.
So obviously you just had the Women's World Cup there, cricket?
We did, yeah, we did. COVID threw its challenges at us obviously prior to the event, but I think, well, what a breath of fresh air, just getting a live sport, not only for us, but for the city and in fact the country, just to get things off the ground again after COVID and to get through 7 games at Seddon Park was great. I'll probably talk about it a bit later, but having a new fresh team there, it was just such an enthusiastic environment, mate, and the reports on what we did was great, but just experiencing all the international cricket back in the city, big time, really good.
Obviously you've been in the industry for a fair while. What would be, I guess, your career highlight, basically?
Career highlight was, not to hijack your interview, but probably 2 highlights. I think, Nigel, would be, the first would be my first test match against South Africa 5 years ago down at University Oval in Dunedin, mainly due to the fact that the great support I got from colleagues in the industry. Having a first international game was a test match, was a big deal, and it's a highlight of most curators or grounds turfies careers as a test match, and to get one early on in the cricket game was fantastic. Guys like Grumpy L, KJ and Jaden really supported me through that whole experience, being super planned, and then getting some really enthusiastic volunteers to help out through the event just made it really memorable. Yeah. So that was cool. Probably number 2 was pretty recently, actually, the Women's World Cup, the last cricket season due to COVID, and we had a brand new team, and just to be able to pull those guys together and give them the support they needed to really enjoy the event and do some phenomenal things on the ground with things we were thrown was particularly satisfying. I think just with a new crew and just really enjoyable. So that's key. Good people make great things.
Yeah. Because I seem to remember one of the games was it was getting towards the end of the tournament, wasn't it? And then the rain had come through and you had to get on by a certain time to get the game underway? Yeah,
we got handed 90 mils from Auckland about maybe 4 hours prior to the game. So 4 hours prior to kick-off, you couldn't see a blade of grass. The whole place was underwater. And we all sort of looked at each other, and most Sky crews and network crews were packing up. Yes. And we're just starting to think about getting busy. And I talked about just before, doing some phenomenal things through that tournament with the new team. I mean, these guys knew nothing about what was achievable or what not was achievable in those sorts of conditions. And man, you just saw heads down, asses up, and positive attitudes. Just shows you can get anything across the line if you've got the right attitude. And attitude sets your altitude, and by Christ, we just absolutely bloody pulled one out of the bag there. And yeah, one of the proudest moments probably for KJ and I, who have been in it for yonks, but with a new team, really good. So it just shows what can be done.
Obviously, you're working outside most of the time. What would you say would be your biggest challenge out there?
Well, I love a good challenge. I mean, that's why we do what we do. And I think linking that to just trying to remember that, control the controllables, I guess. We try and grow good people and try and get that message across where do everything we can and do what we can do to our best of our abilities every time. We'll stay on track and just not to get too tied up in the things that we can't control. We talk about culture, well-being and all that type of thing. I think that's really key, is just to make sure that as long as we're controlling what we can and doing that well and remember why we get out of bed each day to do work, all the other things, should just hopefully fade into the background and we can concentrate on what we should be doing.
Yeah. Obviously you follow a lot of sports. Is there sort of one sports team you particularly follow?
This might let it out the bag because not a lot of people know, but I'm a very passionate Crusaders fan.
Yes, I've heard that.
I think, they've brought a lot of satisfaction to their supporters over the last 15, 20 years, and it's lucky. I've been lucky enough to be out of Christchurch during some of these successful periods, and it's always handy to have up your sleeve to bring out, if you need to quieten a conversation down now and again. But no, they've been a great team, and just to show again, we base our teams around growing good people, and at any top level, be it sport or venue or preparation, it's all the top 6 inches. If you can get the best out of anyone, you don't have the smartest or the quickest or the best, but if you can get that top 6 inches, one team, one dream, how good.
Is there a particular sports athlete that you follow, like international or overseas or anything?
Used to be a lot of golfers I liked. Golf was kind of like quite black and white back when I was a young fella. So you like the guys with a bit of attitude or a bit of, not afraid to show their emotions on their shirt. So, your Sergio Garcias I liked, the John Daly's and all those types that were not afraid to show their emotions, because individual sports can be quite selfish and quite internal, but it was nice to see the guys that go against the grain slightly and make the game more interesting. So a lot of golfers I do follow and still follow today. Some of the older boys now are getting onto the senior tour, so I suppose that shows our age a little bit, but no, definitely some European golfers. I just like their passion. Yeah,
good. Right, the very, very big question, Marmite or Vegemite?
Oh, definitely Marmite. Yeah, no, always have been. It's just such a gift that keeps giving. Toast sandwiches, my wife today still puts it on a bit of bread with cheese and straight in the microwave for 20 seconds or something. It's just something that just is always in the background and goes good on a mousetrap or anything like that. It's all good.
Well, I can tell by your tie, you're probably a summer man. So this next question, I think, jandals or gumboots?
Nigel, my beautiful family, we're campers. So definitely, even when I finish work, it's straight rugby shorts on, jandals on. So jandals every day for me. Camping, it's just I get the tan line from the jandals and I wear it with pride all summer. So definitely a jandals man, mate.
Favourite spot to dine out?
Well, we've got a beautiful young family. My wife and I have got 2 beautiful young lads, so we probably don't get out as much as we'd like. And unfortunately, my wife and I are best friends, so we're each other's best mates. So we don't frequent quite as much as we should. So generally, it has to be a family venue. We've always liked the Lone Star chains.
Yes.
Because of their relaxed atmosphere, our boisterous boys can get away with being themselves, which we don't want to train that out of them. We want our boys to be themselves. So probably the Lone Star, just because of the family atmosphere.
Favourite drink, or would I have to say, is it Waikato, seeing you're a Chiefs man up here now? Or?
Nigel, mate, my first Waikato draft, I'd only been in the area a couple of days in the job with KJ for its second day there, and we just finished a hard slog. I think we had an international at the end of that week, so we'd done a pretty long day, and there must have been a major malfunction because there was no cold beers in the fridge. But the boys found a warm Waikato, and I hadn't tried the stuff before, so my first experience with Waikato draft, it was warm, so tough start.
Yes.
But I think in disguise, it actually really helped me because the next one was cold. So instant improvement, right? So mentally, I've got Waikato draft. I'm all over it, out of the big bottles.
Yep.
Makes me feel local and part of the town. And look, the label's green, but normally anything in a green bottle, Steinlager Classic would be my favourite. Nice. And since my second boy was born, my lactation nurse told my wife that one beer during breastfeeding wasn't going to be an issue, which turned my wife into a beer drinker. So we now both drink beer together at night.
Oh, that's handy.
And it is. I only get half the beers in the fridge now, unfortunately. But no, my wife and I do enjoy a good Steinlager Classic.
Oh, well, great. Oh, well, that's the end of the interview, mate.
Mate, good.
Thanks for catching up with us. As you can see behind us, a few of the players are warming up. We've got a game here, Manawatu against Waikato, actually. So I think it's time to go and have a beer and watch the game. What do you reckon?
Great, nice. Thanks, mate. Great time, great chat. Let's go and watch some footy.
Cheers, mate.